a slight
Okay.
reverb, but I think we'll be fine.
Okay. And I'll let the other one launch as well while we go, and if the other one is better, I'll hop over to the other one. So, but we'll definitely make it work.
Cool, that works. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Free Hype platform, Free Hype TV. We don't have a name for it just yet, but definitely want to create some programming. My name is Sean Freeman, by the way, Alabama State grad, Dayton, Ohio, Troutwood to be exact, resident and business owner. So tonight we're here, gracious enough to have an OG to me, mentor, friend, a big brother, Jeremy Spratling, on the line to talk about his transition from investment banker to entrepreneur. Yeah, definitely look for it to be a great conversation, enlightening conversation. Just to give a little context and background, every time I meet Jeremy and when I first met him, his energy has always just been up. It's always been here. And that's something that just seeing from it showed me, a different side of an entrepreneur. He let us know that he always has to be on, never lacking, always clean in a lot of ways, and just always on point. So definitely someone I look to, for business wise and business goals, and endeavors, for any type of advice, just any life advice. Jeremy, would you mind just giving a little bit of background, about who you are and where you come from?
Yeah, not to bore anybody. Like I said, I was born in Talladega, Alabama. I left Talladega when I was around about 17 years old when I graduated from high school. I left and went off to college. At the time that I graduated from high school, I had no idea of what I wanted to do in life. Coming from a small town, like I said, there were not a lot of hopes, not a lot of dreams, not a ton of people to look up to in regards to people that had left the area to go do other things. So I said, hey, contacted the university, Alabama State University, around that time, and they accepted me, and I went off to school there. Majored in economics. At the time, I had no idea of what I wanted to major in. I didn't have any idea of what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to do something in the business field. It was going to be something business related. Exactly what I really didn't know, but I wanted to. My thing I wanted to wear, and that kind of led me, to where I am now. Nothing to do with some kids go to school. Hey, I want to be an engineer. I want to be a doctor. My background in rearing, it just didn't allow me to have that insight or that foresight to know exactly what I wanted to do. My mother and my stepfather worked hard. They told me, hey, education is everything. You need to have education, but they couldn't tell me that they didn't have the background to tell me what path down. Led me to Alabama State University. I did a couple of years there. And that's before I transferred over to Auburn University in Montgomery, where I majored in economics. And what got me from high school to majoring in economics was that I had a part-time job working at the bank. I was a part-time teller, and I knew if I wanted to move up, I needed to pattern myself after some of the other people that were there, some of the higher-ups there. So one day, bank president was walking by. We were walking, I think, going to the cafeteria, and we just started having a conversation. And I asked him, what did he major in college? And he said he majored in economics. It was the road. He said it was one of the roads less traveled. So I said, hey, I went back to the school and said, hey, what about me majoring in economics? They said, we don't have an economics program, but we can get you on the path to get to that degree. So I started there. And AUM they have one of the strongest economics programs in the Southeast. So I transferred over there and finished my degree in economics there. And that got me the business world. It helped me advance in my career. And to cut out 15, 20 years, that was the start of me going on to work in corporate finance, working corporate banking, working private wealth management, and also to get to where I am today, to be an entrepreneur and a small business owner.
Yeah. And so what were some of the kind of initial roles that may have led you to, owning your own business?
Yeah, good question. I always knew that I wanted to do something in business, and I knew I wanted to have my own business. My mother always preached to me, have your own business, have your own. You have more control. You can do for yourself. Then also working in corporate finance, working in the wealth management field. Everybody that I worked with, I worked in, of course, again in private wealth management. That I worked with had to have a certain net worth in order for me to be able, to work with them, to be allowed into that private banking group. And I looked at the things that they were doing. I looked at, the way they obtain wealth. And in the United States, the number one way to obtain wealth is small business ownership. That's the quickest, fastest, and most reliable way to get there. And I knew if I wanted to obtain any sizable amount of wealth, I had to take those same steps and those patterns to get to business ownership, to start a company, to form a company, and to grow it, to be able to get to those certain levels of wealth that you want to get to. Now, there's nothing wrong with working for anybody. Fine and dandy, no problem. But there's a small select or a certain group of people that want to call their own shots. They want to own their own, and they want to be their own boss. A lot of people, I'm a business mentor as well, and a lot of people, they come to me on a regular basis and say, "Hey, I want to own my own company. I want to own my own business." But everybody is just not built for it. It sounds good. It sounds fine and dandy. It looks good. But once you get into it, once you start dealing with some of the headaches and some of the pressures, everybody's not built for it. But there are a select few that get into it and they do it. They love it. They just have that right mindset and that right mentality that can handle the rigors of being self-employed or being an entrepreneur, and also employing and dealing with other people, which is one of the hardest things about being an entrepreneur, is that you have to deal with employees if you want to grow, deal with employees and deal with other people. And I tell everybody, no matter what you do, if you're making widgets, if you're providing a service, if you're helping somebody, that's the easiest part of doing business. The hardest, if you can deal with employees, deal with people, deal with personal issues, dealing with I can't come today, deal with my head hurts, I got this issue going at home, that's why I can't perform on my job. That's the large part of business ownership. Like I said, anybody can make a cabinet and sell a cabinet. That's easy. What about everything that goes into doing that? So those are some of the challenges there. But like I said, I love it. I desire the ownership part of it. I love creating my own path and making my own way.
So it sounds like it's really, or the key there might be to staying consistent in the midst of things when everything else is kind of going haywire. Um, so with that being said, was your business created like out of a passion or out of a void that you need or felt like needed to be filled?
Yeah, and I'll tell you the way I started my company, and I'll try to make it brief. I was in corporate banking. I had a client. He owned property from Virginia all the way over to Texas. Extremely wealthy, wealthy guy. And I was putting together. He needed about $20 million to buy a piece of property. So I was putting a deal together for him one day. Then out of the blue, something told me, just whispered in my ear. It said, "Ask Frank what are some of his biggest challenges and what are some of his biggest needs." Because I said, I'm getting a credit facility or a loan for this person for $20+ million, he has to spend his money somewhere. And I said, Frank, what are some of your biggest challenges? He said, facility maintenance, commercial janitorial, floor care. He said, those are some of the biggest challenges I have, just maintaining my property. And after that, I was putting a deal together for him. And we met about 2 weeks later, and I said, hey, Frank, let me put together a little something for you, and see if I can help you out. And then I said, no matter what happens, if worst comes to worst, hey, we'll keep on going, with the banking side of it. And if I just put this thing together, it doesn't work, I'll make you whole on whatever falls apart or whatever I mess up or whatever I can't fix or get right. I'll get somebody to fix it. So, hey, started doing business with Frank. It's kept rolling, everything. It was going well. We added additional business to it. It started to grow. And after about two or 3 years, my little small question or idea that I had in reference to what he was spending his funds on, it just grew into me saying, hey, I can go out and do this thing on my own. I don't need hitting the glass ceiling at the bank, or somebody telling me, well, we think this guy is smarter than you, or we think he's better than you. We think his connections are better than yours. That's why he's moving up. Don't need any of that. I can go make my own way, hang my own shingle, create my own wealth, create something for my family, and move on from there. So that's how the company came about. Just real simple.
Wow. Jeez, that's pretty tough. That's super tough. So how did you then, I guess, begin like building your team, even with that first project with Frank? Was it, yeah, what was that like? Like, did you take on that yourself? Did you know a company, who did such and outsource the work, or knew people, who to put in place for that type of work?
Yeah, like I said, the way I did it, I know business. Didn't know anything about that business sector. I didn't know anything about that at all. So what I did was I just hired people that had experience in that field, and I knew that I can manage a business. I've read business plans my entire life. Is what I know concepts. I know the business environment. I can, for the most part, tell if something is going to work or if it's not going to work. But the part, even now, if it's something that I don't know or something that I'm not comfortable with, I'll go out and find somebody that has an expertise in that space, and let them have and just manage the process. I think business owners, you have to be good at managing the process. If you have your hands in everything and you're trying to run everything, you can only do so much in a day, and you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're afraid to let somebody else handle something and you manage it, you're setting yourself up again for failure. You have to entrust people. You have to give them the tools that they need to make everything happen, and run it from there. And that's exactly how it has to run like that.
Okay. And I want to kind of get into the weeds of that deal a bit, if you don't mind. Just because I guess I'm looking at it, for myself, and like, man, what does that look like? So for that, just maybe to give our audience a good picture of it, maybe how big was that facility? Did you have to find, how many people did you have to find for that first job?
Mm-hmm.
Then did you go on Indeed to find them? Were they friends of a friend, or?
Yeah. When that came about, it was I think it was about a 10-story. The first building was about a 10-story building out in East Alabama that we found and started with. And I didn't know anything about sourcing anything, so I bought a book and started reading and just brought myself up to speed as much as I could on the industry. And I just asking people, taking out articles in the newspaper to find labor. I interviewed people myself, and them in place and managed it as best as I could. Now, be mindful that I'm still working at the bank, and then trying to manage this side hustle, side business, whatever you want to call it, trying to manage that and grow that as well. So, yeah, like I said, like I said, the world is an open book. You have resources everywhere. You just have to be mindful enough and knowledgeable enough to reach out and use those resources. And that's exactly what I did. If I needed labor, take out an ad in the newspaper. Say I think you're still in that millennial age group, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
Indeed wasn't around back then. Some of the other hiring platforms, they weren't around back then. We didn't have Indeed. We didn't have those. We just go click on the internet and find people. Right? The newspaper, and that was for the most part about it. The newspaper. Then word of mouth. We didn't have. I didn't have Facebook. Wasn't around then. The Twitter, the social media, taking out ads that way. If you didn't know somebody, or if you didn't have connections, or if you couldn't use the newspaper, it's going to be tough go for you. The unemployment agency, I'm not sure if you know what the unemployment agency is or not. Right. You send some information to the unemployment agency and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And you would have a physical person that would go, just scan through resumes and shoot you a couple of them. And that's how you found your people back then.
All right. And now, is that a skill that like the average person would know? Or, I mean, obviously, to your point, maybe somebody who's thirsty to be a successful business owner probably would look at, right?
Repeat that, Sean, please. Repeat the question.
Is that something that the average person would know, or is that something that just a hungry business owner, who looking to be successful, is that something that just only them would find out?
Yeah, and in regards to that, you any business person, any business owner, you have to be hungry, to be thirsty for information. I'm making sure I'm answering your question correctly. Like I said, information is everywhere, but it's up to the business owner or potential business owner to go out there and find it. Even now, when my phone rings, it may be a telemarketer. A lot of times I go ahead and answer it, and then I still listen because they may be telling me something that I don't know. Every phone call, every email I get is not just spam, not just trash. No, I can't go through every single one, but if something has a little bit of relevance, I'll scan through it real quick because I'm only one person and there's a whole world out there, and it may be something that I haven't heard about before or something that I just may want to look into a little bit further. And I have a network of other business people that are around me. So if it's something that I hear about or something that I need to know, I'll get in contact with one of them just to ask or inquire, because I'm only one mind, and it's good to reach out to a lot of different people to see what they're thinking, what their thoughts are, what their views are. But as a business person, if you want to grow, you have to be hungry. You can't be afraid to think about new ideas. You can't be afraid to listen to people. You can't be afraid to reach out. Like I said, most business people are pretty stubborn and pretty bullheaded, and we get in and we have a tunnel vision. You can't be like that always. You have to open those ears up from time to time and listen to other people, listen to other ideas, and soak all of that information in. Use all the information, but just have an open mind and have open ears just to listen to whatever somebody else is saying. But you got to be hungry, and you must be aggressive. If you want to grow, if you want to scale, and if you want to have a thriving company that's not just here for today, but that's going to be here on down the road.
Gotcha. What would you say your biggest challenge was in making a transition from, being an investment banker to entrepreneur full time?
Oh, good question. I tell everybody, if you have a job, you go into your job every day. It's structured. You have something to do. They probably have a list of duties for you to do. There are always people, coming in through the door for you, in order for you to work with. It's always something to do. As a business owner, you always want to be busy. You always want to have something to do. You always want to have activity going, not just any kind of activity. You want to have money making or money generating activities going. So to go from a structure of hey, there's something to do every day, somebody to talk to every day. If I'm not busy, I can go into my coworker's office, drink some coffee, chew the fat. There's always something going on. As a business owner, especially when you go from that environment to day one, you're sitting in your office, in your home studio, wherever you are, and you may have one client, you may have no clients, you may have 3 clients. You're not busy all day long. And to try to fill those voids with things to do, that's a real challenge, because your mind will start to take over. And you'll start to sit and think, hey, I hadn't made a sale today. Hey, I don't have anything in the pipeline for tomorrow. Hey, what's going on? What's happening? I don't have anybody that I can go in there and talk to and drink coffee with, and I still have a check coming. I'm sitting here, phone's not ringing. I've emailed 10 people, haven't gotten an email back. So all those little start to turn around in your head. So until you get from the point of, hey, I'm in corporate America, I have something to do today, may not have anything to do tomorrow, but it's still fine. Next day, hey, something will come up. Working for yourself, from that transition of having something to do every day to going from, hey, I'm the basket maker, I'm the telephone answerer, I'm the coffee maker. If something needs to be faxed, I have to fax it. If the trash needs to be taken out, I got to take the trash out. To handling all that, you're doing everything on your own. That's the biggest part of the transition. And also, I tell anybody, if you have patience, if you want to work for yourself, if you have patience, if you can just chop wood every single day, you don't have to chop a whole pile of wood. Just chop a little wood every day, and do the right things. Things will start to happen. Those tires, they will start to turn. And after a while, you see, hey, this is not as bad as I thought it would be, and everything it'll definitely start to roll for you. But you got to be consistent. You have to be systematic, and you have to be solid in your approach in everything that you do.
Nice. Sweet, man. Sweet. Well, I definitely appreciate, having you for this time and joining the call, sharing some of your knowledge and gems from your field. Just for closing remarks, and let our audience know, if you guys have any questions, please drop them in the chat right now. We'll be finishing up with our closing remarks. But any questions, definitely feel free to drop them in the chat, or unmute yourself if you just like to say, hey, this is being recorded, just to let you guys know as well. But yeah, feel free to say, hey, unmute your mic or your camera as well. But in closing, Jeremy, just want to give your, 3 takeaways from this, as far as like any resources, websites, or workshops, that others could benefit from.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, one of the resources that I used when I first started off, and like I said, being a business owner is lonely at the top. You don't have many people that you can talk to. And I tell everybody, with you being a business owner, typically you have ideas that you bounce off of yourself. And if you have 1 employee, 100 employees, 2 employees, you can go say, hey, I'm dealing with this particular situation. Somebody that's not in your position as a business owner, or say if you ask an employee something, they can give you suggestions all day long. Anybody can give suggestions, but the business owner, we have to make decisions. And decisions change lives. Decisions have financial consequences tied to them. They have a lot of repercussions tied to them. If you ask a family member or a friend, like I said, they can give suggestions. Suggestions are free, don't cost them anything, but they can cost you your entire business. So say get with a qualified, a respected business person, not somebody that can just tell you about something. Get with somebody that has been there and done it. If I ask anybody anything, I never say, tell me what you think or tell me what you suggest. This is the situation. Have you been through this situation? And if you have, how did you handle it? So find you a mentor. SCORE, SCORE, score.org they have a partnership with the SBA. I'm a mentor. I reached out to them in the early years when I started my business. They're retired executives, somebody you can sit down and talk to, and whatever issue you're having, if it's marketing, if it's personnel, just whatever the case may, logistics, whatever the case may be, they will partner you with somebody that has expertise in that background. It's no cost, and you can talk to them and work through that particular situation. Again, that's score.org, retired executives that you can talk to in regards to that. So number one, get you a solid mentor. Number two, get you a solid financial person. I see Darlene Wilson is on the Zoom. Her company, RAM, great company, great professional. She's gonna give it to you uncut and raw. If you have something that you need to talk in regards to that, a financial person, accountant that you can sit down and work through your numbers, work through your books, your tax situations. If you don't have your tax situation right, you will be out of business. Not might be, not it could be. Uncle Sam has been doing this for dang near 200 years. They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam will outrun you, and they can outspend you. So make sure your tax situation is right and in order. So get you a good mentor. Make sure your tax situation is well. And my last thing is have you a hobby outside of your business. That's something that I had to learn. I enjoy CrossFit. I like working out. I like running, and I like fishing with my son and my buddies. You have to have something that you can de-stress with. Something. Hey, I'm pulling away from this thing, because when I first started the company, I was working 12, 15, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. You just blowing and going. You have to decompress at some point. If not, it's just gonna wear you out, and you're gonna start to hate it. And your family structure has to be such that your family has to understand, I'm starting business, and I equate it to like a rocket ship taking off. When that rocket ship takes off, it's going to struggle and fight and give it all it has until it breaks through the atmosphere. We watch the movies. Once that rocket ship is going, everybody's shaking, rocking. Your family is shaking around and rocking. But once it breaks through the atmosphere, it starts to sail and float a little bit smoother. So if you give it all you got for 3, 5, 7 years, break through the atmosphere, have your family structure in place, your kids. My wife is amazing. She has supported me 100% the entire way. Once you break through the atmosphere, it'll be a whole lot, the selling will be a whole lot easier. So get you a mentor, get you a good financial person, a good accountant, and make sure you have some hobbies to de-stress. That'll help you go that much harder.
Sweet. Man, I appreciate it. Most definitely. We do have a few questions here in the chat. The first one being we have from Ebony. She asked, how do you balance having a nonprofit and work life?
Yeah, no, I think they balance each other out. Love having the nonprofit. Our nonprofit, me and some college friends, we started it back in '93. And what we do age students. You are one of our first mentees in the program. We're extremely proud of you. You one of our flagship at the time, a student that came through the program. We provide scholarships, mentorship, and interns for our college age mentees. And like I said, even once our mentees graduate, they're still in our program, in our system. It was the vision of Ramon Harper, the late Ramon Harper. It was his vision that we still carry on today. But to Ebony's question on how to balance that, it's a passion. You have to want to do it. You definitely have to want to do it. It's not work to me or work to us. My 12 college mates that started the nonprofit program. It's a desire. It's a passion. It's something that you want to do. So you don't look at it like you're trying to balance something out. It's just a part of what we do. It's a part of our inner being to help other people, so they will not mess up in the ways that we did when we were growing up, to make their life much easier, to make that next generation better. And we want them to find young men like we found you all to help them. And as they say, pay it forward. we only planted a seed that we can put in someone else, and that seed will be planted 100-fold over. So in regards to trying to balance that, it's a passion and it's what we love to do.
Yeah, and I super appreciate it. I'm definitely one of the beneficiaries, man, of TDI and the Turning Dreams into Reality program. It's nothing like having that many mentors on call with that much experience. Just being able to reach out to them at any time is just it's amazing. It's amazing. That's how I really got my start into corporate world, into just living, in the South, working there in Atlanta for a summer. So it was definitely awesome. Um, T,
We're definitely proud of you and proud of all the other mentees.
yeah, man, that means a lot. Means a lot, and I think too, not to segue too much, but it can almost be sometimes intimidating, reaching out to you guys just because of just what you have done, and like for us being so young and nothing in our head for real, but just just running around thinking about trying to think about the next thing. It's like, man, we sometimes don't know what to ask, but you guys definitely provide a lot of guidance to us and have never, had never been too busy to answer any questions, so I super appreciate that, for sure.
Yeah, we always try to be here for you, try to be a resource. And like I said, we always told you, the makeup of the mentors. We have business owners, we have doctors, we have professional college admins, superintendents, accountants, CPAs. We have the gamut of it, and we told you that you all have our cell numbers, you have our phone number, our cell numbers, you have our email addresses. Hey, when we go, I have our board meetings. We invite you all out. This is not a hey, Mr. Spratling, can I schedule a time? No, we'll tell you, man, text me or pick up the phone and call. If I don't answer, I'll call you back. It's more of a father-son friendship that all of us have, and we've told you all about that, and that's how we treat y'all. You all are our kids.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's love. Much love for sure. Next question we have from Mr. T Field there. He said, what's going on with the barbecue, man? I'm glad you asked that, Timothy, too, man, because that's a big part that's one of your hobbies, I'm sure. It gotta be. Gotta
Man, the grill is hot 24/7. The grill stay hot. All you gotta do is just show up. Just show up at the house. We cook.
Yeah. No,
That's a good question.
I didn't pick that up a little bit, I'm trying to learn them grill ropes. You a master with it though. You grilling at any time too. I feel like that's a real grill master trait, is that no time can be late, not too early.
Never, ever. I've been up all night. I've been up at 4 or 5 in the morning. The wife will tell you, if it's on my mind, it's gonna happen. And she don't mind, either her or the family don't mind.
Yeah. I need to start taking that approach. That's cool. Well, man, once again, just definitely appreciate having you here on the line. Now is the plug time. So if you have any, and thanks everyone again for joining. If you have any social medias that you would like to drop, or just any upcoming events that you would like to let everyone know about, or anything business related.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, yeah, if anybody wants to find me on Facebook, it's Jeremy Spratling. Instagram, Corporate One, Twitter, Corporate One. In the late Ramon Harper, one of our college friends that started our mentorship program and so many other things. He and I, we were working on a book together. He had his book called "It Takes Two." Who is your two man? A great book, a great read. And he said, "Hey, Jeremy, you need to go ahead and start your book." So before he passed, he was helping me in the process of writing my book. So we're working. I'm I'm working on the process of finishing that up now. I have a campaign coming out in the next few months in regards to the book that I'm finishing up and writing there. And also, guys, our mentorship program, myself and 12 other gentlemen, I see Tyrus on the line as well, one of the of TDI. We started this mentorship program out of our own pockets. We've never asked anybody for anything. It's something that we wanted to do out of our hearts, and we've done it for years. And now we're accepting donations as well, because the more funds we have, the more kids that we can help. And all the proceeds that we receive from our book, all of us wrote a book together, and everybody's pinned in the book. It Was All a Dream. You can find it on Amazon. The proceeds from the book, all the money we put in out of our pocket, 100% of that goes towards our mentorship program in helping the kids. We give scholarships, take kids on trips, provide for the kids. We don't put not one penny in our pockets, because we're taking out of our pockets. And everybody, go to www.tdi2r.org, www.tdi2r.org. And look at some of the things that we've done on there: the food giveaways, the community service that we've done, the scholarship dollars that we're giving away. And if it's on your heart and you feel that you're inclined to, go ahead and donate some funds to us. We'll take those funds and we'll give all those funds to help somebody. That's what we're here for. Like I said, no greater love than to help your fellow man. And that's what we're doing. So with that being said, I appreciate you having me on tonight. Hopefully the words that I've if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur or have an entrepreneurial desire in their heart, hopefully something I've said will help them blossom. And also, if you want to talk to me about it, hey, go social media, shoot me a message. We can get on the phone and talk about it. Is it right for everybody? Not at all. Is it right for a lot of people? Most definitely. And I'll tell everybody, if I can do it and be successful at it, anybody can do it. So, hey, I'll leave everybody with that.
Definitely. Sweet, man. Well, much appreciated. Thank you. Once again, thanks everyone for joining. Hope I didn't miss any questions there on Facebook. I definitely forgot to pull that one up, but if so, you'll definitely be able to ask Jeremy or myself at any time. But thank you all once again. Hope you guys have a good one.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you, son.
Yes, sir.